Okay, and our students are also there. Hiren Bhai is also there. A warm welcome and a good morning to all of you. All right. Okay, so Hiren, let's begin. And I don't find Hiren right now. Hiren, Nisha.
Good morning, sir. Sir, yes, we can start. Yes, sir.
The first action is from Hiren, and that uh, PPT, that single slide has to be there on the screen. Where is
No,
Hiren, by the way?
sir, I'm just calling him. I'm just calling.
Just wait for 1 minute. Yes, Hiren, you there?
Yes, good morning, everyone. I'm here. Yes.
Very good morning. Yes, so there goes Miss Preeti Adani. She is none other than she's the chief matriarch of the group. She's also the chairperson of Adani Foundation. Dr. Preeti Gautam Adani. She's an educationist and a qualified doctor with bachelor's in dental surgery. Dr. Preeti has been treading a path hitherto less traveled in corporate social responsibility space. Focusing on the mantra of growth with goodness, Dr. Adani is as much a businesswoman as she is a responsible citizen, helping create sustainable solutions to complex problems. Dr. Preeti Adani has been spearheading Adani Foundation, which is her brainchild, and she has done it passionately for the last 2 decades now. Dr. Adani has been ensuring that the Adani Group positively touches and helps transform the lives of as many people as possible. Under her guidance and leadership, Adani Foundation has been carrying out its activities in 4 core areas, namely education, community health, sustainable livelihood development, and infrastructure development. Adani Foundation adopts a very inclusive approach while being committed towards a holistic development of the society by empowering individuals and communities through its participatory and innovative activities. At present, Adani Foundation is prominently engaged with communities and is helping uplift 3.4 million people, 34 lakhs of people annually across 18 states of the country. Going forward, Dr. Preeti Adani envisages extending the footprints of Adani Foundation across the length and breadth of the nation in years to come. She has been profusely awarded and recognized across different forums. The top ones amongst them in a long list is one, she has been awarded honorary doctorate from the GLS University at Hyderabad in 2020 at the 3rd convocation ceremony for her contribution in the fields of education and corporate social responsibility. She has also been awarded Banas Ratna Award by the Rotary Club of Palanpur. This is awarded to those who belong to Banaskantha and they engage themselves in serving the humanity, community, and nation building. That's Dr. Preeti Adani for all of you. I would request Hiren to play a short video here of her seminal contributions to the Adani Foundation. Dr. Preeti, the video comes to you now.
Adani Group owes its success and leadership position to its core philosophy of nation building and growth with goodness. Adani Foundation takes care of pivotal needs in the social dimension through its projects in 4 core areas of education, community health, sustainable livelihood development, and community infrastructure. Besides these, we address specific national issues through our special projects such as Suposhan for curbing malnutrition and anemia, Saksham for empowering the youth with skills, Udan for inspiring the youth. It is imperative that our future generation are well aware about their responsibilities and rights, aligning to them being global citizens. The group is committed to protecting the environment and improving communities through its CSR programs based on the principles of sustainability, diversity, and shared values.
Fantastic. That's Dr. Preeti Adani for you guys. As a essential part of Adani Foundation, there is a Adani Education and Research Foundation. And your institute, Adani Institute of Infrastructure, is a part of that Adani Education and Research Foundation. And hence, by that yardstick, Dr. Preeti also heads the foundation that has these engineering and management institutions under them. So it's only befitting to her to give you the commencement speech of your program, postgraduate diploma in management and postgraduate diploma in infrastructure law. Hiren, can we have the commencement speech, please?
Dear students, I'm delighted to welcome you all to the batch 2020-2022 of PGDM Infrastructure Management and PGDM Law programs at the Adani Institute of Infrastructure Management. Your admission to the institute has happened in the most extraordinary circumstances. The Black Swan event of the COVID-19 has shocked the world with its disturbing unpredictability and sheer magnitude. As you start this new chapter of your life in these turbulent times, you have to decide whether you want to be a candle or fire. While a candle is extinguished by wind, fire is energized by it. We assure you that AIIM is all geared to ignite and fuel the fire inside you. Our team of academically strong, pedagogically sound, and technologically agile faculty, as well as our dedicated staff, will ensure that you have it all to navigate through and beyond the post-virus world. A solid infrastructure knowledge base, a plethora of new skills, lifelong connections with acclaimed academicians and industry experts, and above all, the agility to thrive in any circumstances is what you will arm yourselves within the course of these 2 transformational years. Do make the most of your time by accepting the challenges, engage in stimulating exchanges, and keep embracing the mammoth possibilities of the infrastructure sector. Dear students, as you embark on this journey of personal growth and of professional advancement, on building a scintillating career and of participating in nation building, I wish you all the luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Preeti Adani. It's befitting her stature and the kind of work that she does under the Adani Foundation that keeps the goodness behind every industry and business that we get into. The goodness is that part which is called corporate social responsibility. The impacting the lives of millions around you, around your communities, around the businesses that we are in, around in the society, and in that whole process, the kind of nation building that Adani Group is into. She is an integral part of that, Dr. Preeti. Thank you very much. And now comes the moment you would have been seeing a luminary on the screen along with us, and let me introduce you to Ms. Sushma Ben Oza. She's the Director of Strategy and Sustainability at Adani Group, and she is going to lead this session on which is titled CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility. Is it a mere mandate by the government, or there is something more to it? Am I clearly audible?
Yes, yes, to me, you are audible.
Because I'm listening to an echo of my own speech. Hiren, is it clearly audible at your end?
I believe it is audible, but I believe there is a dual voice coming in. Nisha, if you can unmute rest of the people parallelly.
Sure, sir.
All right. Now, how does this sound now?
So now it's okay. Now yes, sir.
Okay. So Ms. Sushma Oza retired last year. No, I don't believe in this word called retirement. A life goes as long as you want to work, but she formally retired last year as a Director Strategy and Sustainability at Adani Foundation, Ahmedabad. She was also the CEO of Adani Foundation from May 2007 to October 2014, 7 long years, and has been playing pivotal role in shaping the CSR for Adani conglomerate for more than 12 years. She has represented the organization at many national and international fora. Ms. Oza has over 37 years of experience in the development field, out of which about 21 years has been as head of the organization in India and USA. She has strategized and spearheaded projects in sectors of education, healthcare, and sustainable livelihood development. Before retirement, she was spearheading 2 centers for excellence. Those projects were Swachhagrah and Suposhan, which were being implemented nationwide, and these projects have won many accolades. She has been and continues to support sustainability efforts and reporting as part of sustainability leadership committees for Adani Group of companies. In the span of her extensive career, she has groomed a large number of development professionals as well as volunteers. She has an impressive record of successfully organizing many large-scale events for fundraising, networking, and of developing partnerships with more than 150 non-governmental organizations, NGOs, with project-specific funding and management training. She is currently advisor to the Adani Group for Sustainability and Center for Development Management and Communication at MICA. She also serves as an independent director in many companies. She is founding trustee and vice chairman for United Way of Ahmedabad. I'm sure this United Way is that famous Baroda's Garba group, right? United Way. Ms. Oza received Masters in Social Work as part of her academic efforts from the Maharaja Sayaji Rao MS University of Baroda in 1981, and she has accreditation with the National Council of Social Work USA and Education Evaluation International USA. That's boys and girls. Ms. Sushma Oza for you. Ms. Sushma, welcome to this group and thanks for your time. I'm sure you're going through a tough period wherein you have to take care of your elder parents and relatives, and you are not even in Ahmedabad right now. You are at Bhavnagar and managing a very tough routine every day. Thank you very much for being with us. Quickly, could you throw some light on what is this development sector challenges and infrastructure projects we talk all about? Ms. Sushma, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for all your kind words. As you rightly said that no one retires, and for me also it's the same thing. I'm always a part of development sector, and the only thing, as I said, that it's just little detour where you take care of other priorities. So it's such a pleasure to be with Adani Institute of Infrastructure Management students once again. It has become kind of routine for me, and being with young students like you all keeps me young, and I feel young at heart when I communicate with you or discuss things with young students. You are very right, Mr. Sharma. I was part of United Way of Baroda, that famous Garba organizer. But let me tell you, that is one of the fundraising event for United Way of Baroda. And I've been executive director for United Way of Baroda for 6 years. And now we started a chapter in Ahmedabad. Besides that, your responding to your query on development sector has been there since ages, and especially in our country, it's the philanthropy or a charity that has evolved, or I would say that there is a paradigm shift from there, where people started thinking about development sector as progressive sector, and moved away from mere charity to working with people. So yes, there are definitely challenges because we have had our history in philanthropy and charity. And moving away from that philosophy to combining it with participatory approach makes it little difficult. But, with this approach, it would be more sustainable. So it would be a pleasure discussing with young students regarding CSR and sustainability and development sector per se.
Thank you for this quick beginning and a general overview of what is charity, what was charity at some point of time, has come down to a very professional development sector. Having been in development sector for so long, Ms. Sushma, what is social responsibility according to you? If you could delve in that question for a little while.
Yes. Let me tell you that, we all, whether in India or abroad, whether you are in rural sector or urban sector, or you are residing in a town, we always follow our conscience, and we follow what has been taught to us by our parents through our culture. And so what I see is that whether it's individual, whether it's NGO, or whether it's corporate, there is an ethical orientation to something that we do, and that makes us responsible. That, that ethical orientation makes us responsible beyond ourselves, beyond, personal self. And that I would call an individual social responsibility. And to make it a little bit more clear, may I request Hiran Bhai to show that clip that I have shared with you about the dog?
आशियाना मेरा साथ तेरे है ना, ढूंढते तेरी गली मुझको घर मिला। आबोदाना मेरा हाथ तेरे है ना, ढूंढते तेरा खुदा मुझको रब मिला। तू जो मिला लो हो गया मैं काबिल, तू जो मिला तो हो गया सब हासिल। हाँ, मुश्किल सही आसान हुई मंजिल, क्योंकि तू धड़कन मैं दिल। मान जाना मेरा, ढूंढते तेरी हंसी मिल गई खुशी। राह घूमे तेरी तू है तो मेरी, ढूंढते तेरे निशान मिल गई खुदी। तू जो मिला लो हो गया मैं काबिल, तू जो मिला तो हो गया सब हासिल। हाँ, मुश्किल सही आसान हुई मंजिल, क्योंकि तू धड़कन मैं अब हासिल
That was very touching, very selfless. Yes, Ms. Sushma?
Yes. So I would like to ask all the students that what do you see happening there?
Right. Students, you can write in the chat window and let me speak out from there. What is your contribution? So there is a teamwork. Pooja saying unity is strength.
Yes. Akash said teamwork. More students can type in. I'll just wait for 1 or 2 more minutes. Compassion. Yes. Humanity. Teamwork. Helping nature. Great. So, you know, this is what when I
Right.
said
Smart work, empathy, altruism.
responsibility.
Very good.
Very good. So this is what I would say individual social responsibility turning into a group's social responsibility. One person, you might have seen another video that I had in mind, which we have seen many times through WhatsApp, where a small boy, there was a large tree log on the road, and small boy starts, it was raining profusely, and small boy starts helping out. And he knew that he was not going to move it. But then he, because of his selfless action, many people joined and they could move the that large tree log. Similarly here, the person who started, he knew very well that him alone, he is not going to rescue that dog, but he took an action, and that is individual social responsibility and people who joined. And you might have seen there were quite a few people who were just standing, they were bystanders, but this kind of incident, how it moved us, even looking at it, you know, the other people also, they will move. So I would say that this is individual social responsibility turning into a group social responsibility with participation with a goal that you want to reach something. You have a goal to save that dog, the dog who could have swept away in that tide or in that river, but it was saved. So this is what I would say is individual social responsibility. And you know, now we will see that what it will make from group to corporate social responsibility. So this is what I would say, that it's individual responsibility. There was an ethical orientation. Someone thought that this is my responsibility. Someone thought that this is what I have to do. Similarly, a group of people thought that we need to chip in, because if we don't chip in, then we may lose both the persons, not only dog, but the first person who jumped in to help out. So it became the group's responsibility, that team's responsibility. So similarly, I would say that this ethical orientation and participation makes the responsible citizenship.
Great. That was a great example, Ms. Sushma. What struck me from there is that the element of that you may not have done anything and nobody would have commented on it, except probably, except the person who was taking the video. He would have been, trolled for, letting the puppy, wash away. That is all would have happened and nobody would have commented him. But there is a selflessness in a social responsibility, a thing that you may have chosen not to do, but you still did it because you found that doing it was a good thing to do. That is a great exposition. So you talked about individual, and then we also talked about, so there was an individual responsibility, that boy jumping in. There was a group responsibility of that human chain. There was a group standing outside which was not doing anything, but they were still contributing. I saw a few ladies there waving hands to the last person who was probably standing somewhere else. He was called in order to strengthen and elongate this human chain, right? So that's the group responsibility. But there can be no bigger organized group than a corporate, a business itself, because one definition of a business is how people come together to achieve mutually reinforcing objectives. The group, the individual, all come together in an organized form to process resources in order to generate value for everybody around. That's corporate. But how does this social responsibility translate itself for a corporate, what we popularly call corporate social responsibility, CSR? Over to you, Ms. Sushma.
Thank you. This is how I will take it from there, that, you rightly said that, people who were bystanders, they had responsibility too, because someone took this video, someone called the other person to help out, they cheered, and also making this video and sending it and sharing it more people. That means that you are spreading the word about the goodness, that, being kind, being helpful to someone without even asking for help. That is the responsibility. Now, when we see the corporate social responsibility, again, as I said, that historically in our country, the Mahajan Pratha, or people who had resources, have always been helping people who do not have. So have supporting have-nots. But that was done as individual responsibility, and that was not considered corporate social responsibility, because that was again at a will, that you would do it if you want to do it. You would do it because you feel like doing it. Now, India is the only country where CSR is mandated by law. But let me tell you, I found out from someone else, where I was speaking at one of the forum, where KPMG had shared that, which Gujarati corporate is spending how much money on CSR. And to my utter surprise, pleasant surprise, I found out that one of the Adani Group's company was at highest. We have spent almost 5.18 or 5.28% of our profit on CSR. And this is before even it was mandated for 2%. So just for students to give you little background, Companies Act was enacted, or I would say that it was revamped in 2013. And there, the most hours of discussion that happened was on Section 135. That was about CSR. So it got enacted in August 2013 with a condition that it would be in implementation from April 2014. So Section 135 related to CSR, what it says that if company net worth is more than 500 crore, company's turnover is more than 1,000 crore and company's profit, net profit is 5 crore in last 3 preceding years, then company gets into the ambit of CSR. That means that they have to have CSR committee. Committee has to propose CSR policy. Policy needs to be adopted by board. And if that any of the condition, 500 crore, 1,000 crore and 5 crore, any of the condition, this is what is mandated. But the 3 consecutive years, preceding years, if you have profit more than 5 crore, then you have to spend 2% average of that profit as CSR. That is the mandate. So now we will talk about that, whether that is mandate or CSR is something more also. So mandate is there, and as I said that our group, Adani Group, has been spending much more percent even before Companies Act, and they have continued spending. So maybe the smaller company, we were not taking money. Now we are also taking contribution, or I would say other way around, that even smaller companies are contributing to CSR fund if there is a need or there is a mandate. But the bigger companies continue to spend on CSR. So that is for our company. So now let me give you or tell you a story about a place in India. And I would just narrate a story and then we will see. So there is a girl called Nitya. She lives in one of the Parganas of Godda district. Now Godda is part of Jharkhand state. Jharkhand state was carved out of Bihar as a separate state in November 2014. So now going back to Nitya, Nitya is around 10-11-year-old girl, belongs to Adivasi community, is not interested much in education, or I would put it other way around, where Nitya loves to read, loves to study, but her neighboring students don't go to school. So she doesn't go because her father would not allow. Now, this is the case for many of the students. So Godda, which is an aspirational district, remains in last 3 or 4 in board results. Godda has school attendance averaging around between 20 to 25%. So, and it so happened that Adani Group decided to have its business presence in Godda. Being an aspirational district, even the collector was very much concerned about low education achievements and status. So there were like-minded people who wanted to embark on some journey that will change things for positive. So if I can request Hiren Bhai to show that girl story video, and then we will continue with the story. Hiren bhai, you might have to use unmute that mic off video.
પેલી સ્કૂલ આવે છે આજે એનો વરેન ઓફિસે લઈ જવાનું છે એટલે હાથ સાફ કાલે
10 છે આયા કહેવાય આપણે ઈ હોય તો ના બેટા પેલી બોડી આવી કાલ મને બીક લાગતી હતી ને કાજુ
અને નહીં ખોલવાનું
ના હવે પતી ગયું
ના બાંધવાનું નથી સાંજે આવજો
પતી
I believe there is a lot of noise. Can somebody please?
Urvi, please switch off your audio. All right.
All of you are requested to please make sure all your audios are muted at all the times. All right, just give me 1 minute. I'm going to play it again. Just 1 minute.
Yes, please. Is there voice here, Hiren?
The voice is there. Can you hear the voice?
થોડું વોલ્યુમ વધારવું પડશે.
Okay, the system volumes are at the maximum. Were you able to hear?
It just started, you know, it was very sketchy. Let's continue with this and let's see आगे सुनने को मिलता है कि नहीं.
All right, sure.
पहले टीचर ने बच्चे आते थे पढ़ाई नहीं करते थे, बस बातें करते थे, तो स्कूल आने का मन नहीं करता था यार क्या करेंगे स्कूल जाके, पढ़ाई होता नहीं है। बट जब हम लोगों ने देखा कि इक्वेशन से रिलेटेड कुछ यहाँ पढ़ाई हो रही है तो लोग बच्चे पढ़ने के लिए एक्साइटेड होते हैं कि हाँ चलो कंप्यूटर क्लास जाएंगे, स्मार्ट क्लास जाएंगे, इक्वेशन के बारे में कुछ पढ़ेंगे। तो बहुत सारे बच्चे अब स्कूल भी आती है, पढ़ती है, वो जानने लगी है कि कंप्यूटर पे किस तरह पढ़ाई होता है, कंप्यूटर हम लोग किस तरह यूज़ करेंगे। पहले बच्ची नहीं जानती थी कंप्यूटर क्या होता है, कैसे उसको यूज़ किया जाता है। बट स्कूल आई, जब ये सब स्टार्ट हुआ तो फिर स्कूल आई, देखी, पढ़ी। और अब पहले बच्ची क्या करती थी कि स्कूल में पढ़ाई नहीं होता है तो बहुत ऐसी बच्ची थी कि घर में भी पढ़ाई नहीं करती थी। बट अब जब बताया जाता है कंप्यूटर पे कि द्विघात समीकरण या फिर कोई भी सब्जेक्ट, साइंस, मैथ, इंग्लिश सब बताया जाए तो वो लोग भी इंटरेस्ट लेती है, वो लोग पढ़ना चाहती है। चलो कुछ तो पढ़ाई हो रहा है ना, चलो स्कूल चलते हैं, कुछ भी पढ़ते हैं इक्वेशन से। और बहुत बच्ची ऐप है उसके घर में भी वो पढ़ाई कर लेती है इक्वेशन से देख के। इक्वेशन में बहुत सारे ग्रुप से ज्वाइन रहते हैं, तो हम अगर किसी क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं जानते हैं तो उसमें हम उसको फोटो करके उसमें भेज देंगे, तो वैसे हमारे पास उसका रिप्लाई भी आ जाएगा, उसका आंसर आ जाएगा। तो ऐसे
Video is stuck.
But I think this is good enough. I'll continue
Okay,
from here. Thank you, Hiren bhai. So this was just to give you an idea that
All right. Yes, please.
okay. So this was just to give you an idea that, you know, this girl in a video is almost like Nitya. And there were many girls, many boys that who were not interested in going to school. And then Jharkhand Collectorate, Adani Foundation, and Ecovation, that we approached Ecovation to bring the AI-based smart class. Rest of the things Adani Foundation did, and there was a great support from Godda's district collector. With that, things started changing. So what I'm trying to tell you is that group took the responsibility. When I said group, it's the Adani Group as a corporate took the responsibility that changing situation of Godda being an aspirational district, it's not only government's responsibility. Now we are there, we are sharing common natural resources, and we would like to contribute and accelerate the process of change. And that is how we decided to start Gyanoday. Now, Gyanoday is not the only project. There are many projects at Godda, but I'm sharing about the Gyanoday because that was a need there that was already identified. That, you know, the education level was so low that dropout ratio for girls and especially SC/ST girls could go up to 88%. So, you know, these were the issues identified that, you know, students were not interested in going to school. Students were not performing. There were no teachers in the class. So something needed to be done to address all these questions. And that is how Gyanoday was introduced. And let me tell you, within 2.5 years, the first exposure visit to look at that what can be, you know, started for changing the education scenario, that happened in May 2018. Gyanoday was launched precisely on 23rd August 2018, and we are in August 2018. So barely 3 years. 18 to 19, 19 to 22 years. Just 2 years, and the attendance level has improved more than 200%, from 20-25% to now more than 60%. Godda remained in last 3 as far as board results were concerned. Whether it was Bihar, out of 70 districts, Godda was in last 3. Out of 24 districts in Jharkhand, Godda was in last 3. What happened is that with Gyanoday, Godda moved from 21 to 14 and this year 11th. The passing percentage has gone up to 75+%. So these are the change, and this is the social responsibility that our corporate Adani Group has taken in Godda. And let me tell you that it's not only Godda, one district of Godda, but it has, because it was working model, addressing the issues, addressing the real issues, we could use it later on also. So maybe let's see 2 testimonials, Hiranbhai, that student and teacher has given, and then I'll hand it back to Mr. Sharma.
Sure. The first one.
कैसे बच्चे संस्कृत में पूरा सिखाया जाता है, एक एक टर्म को मतलब अच्छा से एक्सप्लेन किया जाता है.
Very short one, but here was the first one.
Right. And the teacher's one, it's barely
I'll play the second one.
35 seconds.
Yeah, I'll play the second one, and then would you like to elaborate?
Yes.
Okay.
हम जो बात नहीं जानते हैं वो ज्ञानोदय के थ्रू आ रहा है हमको. बहुत सारा ऐसे छोटे छोटे चीजें जिसको हम मतलब जानते तो हैं ही, लेकिन बच्चे को किस ढंग से पढ़ाना है या बतलाना है, वो कुछ कुछ चीज जो हमको नॉलेज में नहीं है, वो हमको उससे फायदा हो रहा है.
तो मतलब एक हेल्पिंग एड की तरह होगा
जी,
कि वीडियोस
वो मेरा गाइडलाइन होगा। उस गाइडलाइन को और बेहतर तरीके से कैसे बच्चे तक पहुंचाएं, फिर हम उसको ये करते हैं, ब्रेक कर करके।
Thank you, Hiranbhai. I wanted to show this video, two testimonials specifically, and there are thousands such testimonials. It's like usually what happens that when you introduce something new, there would be resistance from, especially from teachers, the rural teachers. There were many problems that, we decided that we are going to have AI based smart class, but to our utter shock, there were like more than 50 schools had no electricity. Those schools which had electricity had sometimes 2-3 days power cut.
I've lived there, ma'am. I've lived there in that area, Jharkhand, Bokaro, and I've been visiting these places. I can very well relate to what you're saying.
Right. The schools which were running had no doors, no windows. So keeping a smart class was not even safe. But within 3 months, when everyone puts their mind together and towards a same common goal, miracle happens. So within 3 months, there many more participants had to join. There were school management committee, there were Gram Panchayat, which had to chip in fund, the Jharkhand Electricity Board, and laying of the transmission line and everything. Finally, from 50 to 154 schools were added, and if need be, you can go through the Gyanoday website, or we can share more details to with students the coffee table book link so that they can see. But I wanted to share this experience or share this project of Adani Foundation just to understand that what corporate responsibility, corporate social responsibility can do. Now, just in Godda, there is another project, Fulo Jano, where it was empowering women with skills and what they have done. So there are, if I talk about all the projects of Adani Foundation, I'll need days or maybe months, and still I won't be done. But this was just an example that I wanted to give, that what corporate social responsibility can do. And if Mr. Sharma, if we want to also link it with the current situation.
Yeah, so fantastic. This is again something that, voluntarism, just as we saw in that dog rescue video, there are corporates who are socially responsible, and there are those who are not, and hence the government has to come out with a rule, a law which says 2% of your profits given certain conditions you have to spend. That is because historically not every corporate was feeling that sense of corporate social responsibility, and we see that how in our influence areas, for example, what ma'am talked about Godda, those schools. I know the tendency of the local student and teacher. The teacher not getting interested, and so student not getting interested, and so teacher further not getting interested, and so on. Slowly, steadily, the situation boils down to taking the child out of the school and trying to get into another school. Private schools are flourishing over there. There are infrastructural problems, as she talked about. And in that situation, some corporate comes in and he starts turning the tide the other way around. So bringing in infrastructure, bringing in the latest educational aids, bringing in a methodology. That's what the teacher was talking about. And hence, overall, the educational environment, the attendance, the performance of students and teachers, everything sees, and that's the kind of influence, the social influence that a corporate power has to bring through its social responsibility activities. Great. So to the students, please use the chat window to ask questions as we go on in our discussions. Anything that you want to ask on specifically, Gyanoday, then you are welcome, and any other question as well. I have a question, follow-up question for Ms. Sushma. So we talk about sustainability. Sustainability has many dimensions. One is the business dimension, that the business has to survive and perform and make profits and deliver to the shareholders and other stakeholders. There's another aspect of sustainability is the people working, that ecosystem that you are in. So it remains a good and nice place to work where people are motivated and the business grows. And there's a third angle to that, is the ecosystem in which a business exists. So there is an infrastructure environment, there is a society, and there is a physical environment, the air, water, and everything around, whose the upkeep of which is also, if you are using those resources, it becomes a responsibility of the corporate to sustain those resources and environments. So is there a connect between a CSR, its activities, corporate responsibilities, and sustainability as we understand it, Ms. Oza?
Yes, definitely there is a connect. And I would use another small example for sustainability with Gyanoday. If we can see that what was done during this period of COVID, and that will also say that how Gyanoday had used for larger audiences or larger number of students. So if we can see that small video, if you have on what Adani Group did it for during COVID situation, and then I'll respond to this question, and we will take it a point by point. So if we can have that small video, if we can show it to students.
That will also help Dakshesh's question when he is asking, ma'am, how Adani came forward to help the people in this pandemic. So an indirect answer to that as well. Okay.
That's what I thought that it would be good to show it here at this time.
Yes.
मुझे विश्वास है हर हिंदुस्तानी इस मुश्किल घड़ी से विजयी होकर निकले।
भारत में कोरोना वायरस से लड़ने के लिए प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने किया लॉकडाउन।
अंधेरा चाहे कितना भी गहरा हो, आखिर वो टल जाता है। रोशनी के सामने तकलीफों का सूरज ढल जाता है। रोशनी हमारे जज्बों की, रोशनी हमारे इरादों की, रोशनी हमारी उम्मीदों की। हम में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास। मुश्किलों से कह दो, विकास का सूरज डूबने नहीं देंगे। देश को वादा है हमारा, उसका सर कभी झुकने नहीं देंगे। हम में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास। चाहे मंद किया हो गति को, थमना बहुत है मुश्किल। चलना बढ़ना आदत है हमारी, रोकना बहुत है मुश्किल। हम में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास। यूं ही कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर चलेंगे तो टल जाएगा। हमारे हौसलों की रोशनी से अंधेरा ढल जाएगा। हम में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास। हम में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास।
Beautiful.
Thank you, Hiran Bhai. And besides this, I will also share what we did with Gyanoday. Gyanoday was available. It was time tested for 2 years, and Gyanoday was given and used by Jharkhand Doordarshan, and then it was available. All content were available on Doordarshan for entire Jharkhand. So from a number of schools in Godda during this pandemic, that got expanded and was made available to entire Jharkhand state. And it has done wonders, and it was natural expansion. So that is what I said, that you have something, there is a situation like pandemic, and instead of reinventing the wheel, we could offer that you use this content because it was specifically made for Jharkhand state, and it was available to entire Jharkhand state. There are a couple of more questions. Dakshish, I believe that this would satisfy your query. And Barkha has asked about gender. So at the end of the session, Barkha, I will talk about the gender issues also. But first, let me respond to what Mr. Sharma asked me about corporate social responsibility and sustainability, how they are related and what it does for each other. So what I would say that corporate social responsibility is integral part of sustainability or any corporate sustainability efforts. Corporate social responsibility, or I would say CSR, paves the way for making business more sustainable. So, what I would say that though the law or act says that it's spending on CSR, I usually say that it's investing in CSR, because if you invest in CSR, you are investing for sustainability, because CSR helps you gain the license to operate, that you work with people, you just don't grow yourself. You make, and as Dr. Pritiben Adani rightly said, that it's an inclusive growth. It's a shared value. We encourage diversity. And that is how that if you implement CSR right, you are paving your way for better sustainability efforts. So you get license to operate from the communities around you because they are happy you being there, because they see their growth along with companies' growth. And that is what happened at Mundra, at Godda, or at any location, Tiroda, Tabai, you take any location. And there may be some resistance in the beginning because people have preset mindset, or if they are not educated enough, they get kind of sway away by other forces who may say things which are not based on facts. I'll tell you one funny example that, when I was at Mundra and the power plant was coming, and we had lots of discussion with people. We wanted people to feel at ease and satisfied that what was happening. Someone would say that, oh, we have heard that, with power plant, you will have green water that you would release in our villages. And I said that, how would you know that it's green water that comes out? I said, oh, so and so, fala ने बताया कि पावर प्लांट से तो गंदा सा ग्रीन पानी आता है. Then you again talk to them, show them the plan, show them, have them discuss with scientists in local language. But if you make them educated enough, they will know the facts that it's not. And then finally they said that, oh, वहां पर माइन में से तो काला पानी निकलता है, तो यहाँ भी ग्रीन ही निकलेगा. So baseless thinking process. But you cannot say that you are wrong. You have to work with them so that they understand factual evidences, information, and experience themselves. So this is one thing, and that brings sustainability, that you work with people as equal participants. They are partner in your progress, partner in your processes. The other thing, Mr. Sharma asked me about the environment. Yes, when any business start, there would be some impact that you will leave or you will create. What responsible group like ours would do is try to minimize the negative impact and maximize the positive impact. And we call them handprints. So footprints for negative impacts and handprints for positive. If we are bringing the education level up, that would be positive impact. So that I would call it handprints. We will make the I would say groundwater recharge better. Working with people, various ways of rainwater harvesting, groundwater recharge through structures like check dams and other structures. So that would make it a positive impact and it would be handprint. So this is what CSR does, which will make business more sustainable. So I would say, Mr. Sharma, that CSR and sustainability go hand in hand, and I would rather say that CSR paves way for sustainability efforts. And if are there any questions? Yes, there is a question on how CSR affects shareholders' value. I
will combine another question. Give me a moment.
Yes.
Dhruval has also asked very similar question, kind of, and they all three are business related. So how in this pandemic, Adani has helped its employees and the customers, and in that process, by doing business, the shareholders. So basically, it's about that how Adani has helped itself in managing this pandemic to deliver value to every stakeholder.
See, what we have seen on video about Adani Group's efforts in this pandemic. But it's being responsible group, you know, whenever there were decisions by government, like even today, if you see that there would be that, you know, you work from home, or when lockdowns were, you know, released, then staggered timing, you know, the timings, going in the kitchen or going in the mess, that is staggered. Every employee who enters office, you know, if they come, then there is a process. For customers, there are process. So, you know, these are the things that's done during the pandemic. Now, talking about that shareholder, how its shareholders value. Let me ask all the students something, that if you have to buy something, a good, where one side is Tata and one side there is unknown company, which one would you prefer?
Tata, ma'am.
Yes. So definitely, because it has created that value. So that's what CSR does. CSR makes, or good CSR makes companies value as a fair company in eyes of its not only consumers, customers, but also shareholders. I have attended some of the meetings, annual general meetings, where, you know, 50% time from the shareholders is spent on discussing CSR. Either seeing that, you know, you also replicate Adani Vidya Mandir model here also, or appreciating what Adani Group is doing in CSR. Just think about AGM spending so much time, or shareholders telling so much about CSR of the company. So yes, CSR impacts shareholder and their value too, because it's seen as fair, doing good company, and our motto is a growth with goodness. So that goes without saying.
Yes, true, very true. If you look at it, you know, a company does not exist without its community and environment in which it operates. And if it is not seen to be taking the communities along, the nation along, the society along, then there are issues in business also. So if you do the business the right way, that positively affects shareholder value. If you do the business in a cooperative way with your communities in the local society, that affects positively the shareholders' value. If you manage the people within your organization, and how do they interact with the outside world, and how do they involve themselves in CSR, that creates the brand around any organization, that creates positive shareholders value. So there are a lot of ways in which this value is generated. Would you like to take that? I like that question Barkha is asking about
Yes.
about the gender discrimination, and it seems to be a personal question to you, as well as a general question on the male dominating society, and how do you avoid discrimination in CSR efforts, and also what keeps you going, ma'am, on and on in this in this world of male dominated society?
Okay. I see the time ticking and it's 12:16. So I hope that we can, continue
Yes,
with
just
this
five.
for 10,
I think a few more questions and that should be all.
5-7 minutes.
Yes.
For Barkha's question, I will share a small video again that is taking rounds on WhatsApp, which will give you a clear picture of mindset. But I'll respond to both the question, Ravi's question and Barkha's question. Barkha, let me share my personal view and personal story. My upbringing was such that at home, there was no discrimination. So I think that each individual, all of us have a responsibility to raise not only our kid, but raise our brothers, influence our fathers also not to discriminate. And discrimination, not only in India, around the world, goes on very subtly. In our patriarchal society, it's much more. But you need to believe in yourself, and that my upbringing, like my parents have trained us, or I would say nurtured us in such a way where I grew up to be confident person, where my being a female gender has not ever come into a way. But yes, you are challenged at every step. Let me tell you that when I interviewed for United Way of Baroda position as an executive director, I think it was, I believe, 2001. And what Mr. Sharma was saying, that one of its large fundraising event is organizing Navratri. So I was asked that, being a lady, do you think that you would be able to handle this pressure and organize such a large event? Because it's like almost 1 lakh people every day that you have to manage on the ground. And my simple answer was that my being a lady would not come into performing my duties. But that does not mean that you don't face resistance, you don't face issues. But you have to stay strong and committed to yourself in what you do and your values. And you would also influence people around you. But yes, you have to be fair and you have to be committed to what you believe in. So I believe, Barkha, that would satisfy you. And that goes for general also, that women, because it's an age-old mindset. But one has to stay strong and deal with that. And you will, just in what we saw in that first video, that there would be people, like-minded people, who would come and support, because there is a commitment, and because it's not just personal, but what you are doing is for a cause. So stay strong. And the question that Ravi is asking is that are all NGOs corrupt? No. There are very good small NGOs, but yes, there are going to be, few bad apple in a basket, and they make the entire basket look rotten because it's only from one side someone sees. I have had wonderful experience with small NGOs. Being in development sector for almost 37, 38 years, I have seen very committed NGOs. So again, I would say the ethical orientation and commitment with process driven. You know, that is what the foundation, CSR Foundation is little different from the NGOs, smaller NGOs, but we can train them to be more process driven, more document oriented, where you can provide evidence based results. So it's not only that because I'm saying that's why it's good. And I think that is what many NGOs make a mistake. They say that, how can you not trust me? But unless there is an evidence, you cannot claim your, result as true result if you are not giving an evidence. So yes, some NGOs are making that mistake, but that's not the case. Many of the corporate foundations are doing wonderful job. Many NGOs are doing wonderful job, but yes, there would be few NGOs or few foundations which are not up to that level, and they tarnish the name of many other NGOs.
Very, very rightly said, ma'am. So a few rotten bad apples does not, make the entire basket bad. One last question. I will reserve that right because even the chat window is empty now. And that question is, what students and young professionals can do when they don't have much say in decision making in their early career days. All of these students in 2 years from now, and every batch passes out and takes up the junior middle management positions. What can they do in order to, create a good world where people feel socially responsible?
What I had started with is that, the individual responsibility and believing in your power to change things. You may not be heard, but as I said in just a few minutes ago, that have evidence-based, that in whatever you are trying to say, whether it's the result that you are trying to share or an issue you are trying to raise, there has to be evidence. So I would urge all young professionals is that in your career, whether you start at middle management or at upper middle management or at whatever level, have your conscience very clear. You need to have your clarity in your commitment and dedication that what you are doing. Because I have seen, sometimes you tilt the way, and that happens with many activists, that their pendulum goes on one side and then they forget to come on other side. So that whatever you believe in, you strongly believe in, you raise an issue, but you have evidences. You volunteer for social causes that you believe in, and that will keep you going and keep you motivated. And other thing that I would say, that always listen to, I call them citizen experts, is that if you are working with people, you need to listen to people. Nowadays, what I have seen is that people have less and less time to listen to people. Like, for example, if Gyanodaya team had not discussed at length with either teachers or students or parents about what the issues were, then they would not have come up with whatever processes and whatever products they came up with. So you need to listen to citizens, experts, because they can share. Many a times that we assume that this is the issue with community, but you never double check with community whether they believe that that's an issue or not. So for example, if I'm a law student and practicing law, or if I'm an infrastructure person, and if I'm going to build a public structure or community structure, I need to know that from people themselves, community themselves, that whether that would resolve their problems or make their lives easier or not. So always give value to those citizens, experts, because they will tell you much more. Because otherwise we hear every day that, you know, something was made and it's not used by people for whom it was done. A great example about the rehab or work after earthquake. There were villages which were built in colony type of design, where people only used it like tabela, because they were not used to living in that, you know, colonized houses. Because, but I was involved through United Way of Baroda in a rehab process, and what we did was build house, strong house, earthquake resistance house, where their house stood. We had to ask them that opening kahan pe rakhe, which side, would you like north facing, would you like this, instead of, you know, going by design that we believe in. You have to ask them. We also, you know, rescued and made use of their cowed, you know, the water station or paniyara that we call it in Gujarati, because they believe in that. We used that structure or that piece of stone from their old house. So that's what you need to listen to, people for whom you are working.
Yes, it's almost like saying that, you know, empathy is one of the virtues that people must have. Humanity survives on that.
Right.
Ma'am, there is a question that often comes, you know, in very, you know, senior, group gatherings. It's not a question for you. It's just that, you know, when it comes that, you know, when you look back, close your eyes and look back at what you did and what you accomplished, and do you feel happy and satisfied about it? Ma'am, when you close your eyes, I'm sure the world of good that you would have done would give you so much of strength and satisfaction. I'm sure, you know, a person would dream to have a life like you. Thank you very much for being around with us and, taking your time out from the difficult days and you know, throwing light on, you know, quite a lot of things, you know, which are difficult questions. You know, they are more coming out from volunteerism, and volunteerism is very difficult these days. You said it. Thank you very much for being around with us. Thank you very much, Hiren and team.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, yes, you had a few words to say. Yes.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be around young students and teachers, who are young at heart and who give me opportunity to be a conduit so that I can speak to students. So thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, and thank you, wonderful batch of students. I wish you all the luck, and maybe many more opportunities I'll get to interact with you.
Yes.
So
yes, you will. Yes, you will.
At any time, please feel free, whether it's on gender or CSR or sustainability or communication, participation, any topic, you just pick up a phone,
right,
and I'm phone call away.
Great. So I'll end the session with this beautiful one-liner which Ravi Nitin Kumar Pathak says, at the end of the day, love and compassion will win. Thank you
Yes.
very much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.